first. Go ahead, Dave.
So good morning, everyone, and welcome to McMaster. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we're on the traditional territories of the Mississauga and the Haudenosaunee Nations within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. I'd like to extend an especially warm welcome to our Premier Ford. Thank you for choosing McMaster to make this important health announcement. In addition to the Premier, I'd like to welcome the Finance Minister, Peter Bethlenfalvy, the Health Minister, Sylvia Jones, the Minister of Tourism, Culture and Sport, Neil Lumsden, and our MPP, Donna Scully. We're always proud to host our partners from the province on our campus, and we thank you for your ongoing support. I'm also joined here today by the Provost and Vice President, Susan Tai, and Dr. Paul O'Byrne, the Dean and Vice President of Health Sciences, and some of the key members from the health science team. McMaster is consistently ranked in the top 50 universities in the world in medicine and health, and we're proud to be partnered with the Ontario government in meeting the province's increased health and human resources needs through training to deliver better patient care. McMaster redefined medical education through creating the problem-based learning approach, which in the early 70s was referred to as the McMaster model. And evidence-based medicine was founded here and is the basis for our history-long experience in clinical trials. McMaster's Faculty of Health Sciences combines schools of medicine, nursing, rehab sciences, midwifery program, the physician's assistant program, and the postgraduate medical residence program. Our students and faculty continue to shape the future of healthcare in the province and create a healthcare professional team that patients can rely on. And with that, it's my pleasure to welcome the Minister of Health, Sylvia Jones, to the podium.
Thank you, David, and good morning, everyone. It's great to be here at McMaster University again in Hamilton, alongside with Premier Ford and Minister Bethlenfalvy. Our government is focused on building a healthcare system that is faster and more convenient for Ontarians, connecting them to the right care when they need it, closer to home. We are working every day with our healthcare partners to implement our Your Health Plan. Our plan is bold and innovative, and over time, Ontarians will see improved access to more convenient healthcare. Care that you access with your OHIP card, never your credit card. The 2023 Ontario budget builds on this work by including important investments to connect people to more home care so that they can receive care in the comfort of their own home in their community, expanding mental health and addiction supports to cut down wait times, and expanding the ability of pharmacists to prescribe medications for even more common ailments. And as we make healthcare more convenient for you, we are also investing in growing and retaining Ontario's healthcare workforce. We are investing $200 million this year to address immediate needs in our healthcare system and to grow the healthcare workforce for years to come. We are also expanding enrollment for nursing programs, including registered nurses, registered practical nurses, and nurse practitioners. Today's announcement is another step in our plan to grow the healthcare workforce for the future, and I am pleased to have the opportunity to join you here today. Once again, thank you for your warm welcome, and now it's my pleasure to pass it over to Peter Bethlenfalvy to say a few words. Thank you. Stay well.
Hello, everyone, and good morning, and thank you, Sylvia. It's great to be here at McMaster University alongside Premier Ford, of course, Minister Jones, our Minister Lumsden, and our Member of Provincial Parliament for Hamilton East Stony Creek, the great Donna Scully, and our Member of Provincial Parliament for Flamborough-Glanbrook. Got to get that right, Flamborough-Glanbrook. Last week, I had the pleasure of introducing our 2023 budget, Building a Strong Ontario. This is our plan and our blueprint for building a strong province during a time of global challenges and change. Il s'agit de notre plan directeur pour bâtir une province forte durant une période de changement et de défis mondiaux. A plan to build a strong economy now and for the future. A plan to build a strong healthcare system that connects people to the right care. And thank you, David, for the work that you and your whole team are doing at McMaster to be part of that strong plan and growth for Ontario. Our plan is building a strong Ontario while returning Ontario to a balanced budget. I'm going to say that again because I just love the sound of that. While returning Ontario to a balanced budget. Un plan qui bâtit un Ontario fort tout en nous assurant de rétablir un budget équilibré pour l'Ontario. When it comes to health care in Ontario, our government is connecting people to convenient care. We're providing additional support so that people can get the care they need where and when they need it. We're investing every single dollar we receive from the federal government's recent health care funding down payment and a whole lot more into better health care services. Now, while we receive $4.4 billion in additional funding over the next 3 years from the federal government, under the recent government, led by Premier Ford, across the country to get that deal, we're investing a total of $15.3 billion more into healthcare over that same period. Because we're investing to connect people to care at home and in their communities. We're building new and upgraded hospitals in underserved and growing communities. And we're investing to connect more people to mental health and addiction support services. Building a strong Ontario is our plan to support people and businesses today while laying a strong foundation for the future. And it is the right plan that is building an Ontario that the people of this province can be extremely proud of today and for future generations. We've got the right team, we've got the right premier, we've got the right province, and now it is my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone, and I'm thrilled to be back in the great city of Hamilton, better known as the Hammer, alongside, again, Minister Bethlenfalvy, Minister Jones, and our local champions. And I'll tell the people from Hamilton they're local champions, all right, because they're always up there shouting and screaming for Hamilton. And Minister Lumsden and MPP Skelly, they both do an incredible job. I also want to acknowledge David. David, thank you for everything you do day in and day out, along with Susan and Paul and James and the entire team at McMaster University for hosting us today. And I was thrilled to hear that McMaster was once again recognized this week as one of the world's top 50 universities for the study of life sciences and medicine. Just think of that, folks. Top 50 in the entire world. I always say our number one selling feature when Vic and I travel around selling Ontario, it's the students that are coming out of our great colleges and universities. That's our number one selling feature. And again, we appreciate everything you do, David, right here at McMaster. Congratulations on this tremendous achievement, and we're so proud of you. And thank you for all you do to train the next generation of doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers. My friends, when it comes to healthcare, we know that the status quo is no longer acceptable. Too many people are waiting too long for surgeries, having to travel too far to see a doctor, or spending too much time navigating our healthcare system. That's why, earlier this year, we introduced our government's Your Health Plan, a plan to connect people to more convenient care, all while using their OHIP card, never their credit card. This plan builds on our government's historic investments in new hospital beds, long-term care beds, and mental health and addiction services. It expands access to home care services, community paramedicine, and allows pharmacists to provide more care at no extra cost. Our goal is simple. Whether it's an emergency in the middle of the night or a problem that's been bothering you for years, no matter where you live, we want to connect you to more convenient care closer to home. But my friends, as we expand our healthcare system, we need more doctors, nurses, and healthcare staff, and we've made progress. Since 2018, over 60,000, I'm going to repeat that, over 60,000 new nurses and nearly 8,000 new doctors have registered to work in Ontario. In fact, last year was a record-breaking year for new nurses in Ontario, with over 12,000 new nurses registered and ready to work, and another 30,000 nurses studying at a college or university. But we know we need to do more, and we're doing more. Today, we're pleased to announce that as part of our budget 2023, we're investing $33 million to add an additional 100 undergraduate medical school seats and 154 postgraduate medical training seats. That prioritizes Ontario residents. Friends, one of the things I hear all the time from families is that a lot of students are being forced to leave the province for medical school. You hear it, my son or daughter's in Ireland, or they're down in the Caribbean at medical school because they can't find a residency spots right here in Ontario. Meanwhile, students from other countries are learning here, but then they return home after that, and I find that unacceptable. That's why we're expanding the number of undergraduate and graduate medical school spots and putting qualified Ontario students at the front of the line. We're training the next generation of Ontario doctors right here in Ontario to stay here and care for Ontario communities. The new investment is part of our government's major expansion of medical education in Ontario, the largest expansion of our medical school system in more than a decade, and is just one of the many steps we're taking to bolster our healthcare workforce. We've expanded our Learn and Stay grant program, which pays the full cost of tuition, books, and other supplies for students in high-demand fields, including nurses, paramedics, and lab techs, in return for agreeing to work in an underserviced area of the province. We've broken down barriers so more internationally educated nurses and doctors can put down roots here and help care for our province. And we've introduced legislation to allow Canadian healthcare workers that are registered or licensed in another province or territory to practice in Ontario immediately without having to register again. Together, these changes will increase the number of healthcare workers in our province for today and tomorrow, providing a pipeline of talent and reinforcements. My friends, as I said before, the status quo is not acceptable. We're being bold, we're being innovative, and we're being creative. We're working hand in hand with our colleges, universities, and our healthcare partners to build our healthcare workforce, to ensure you're connected to healthcare you need when you need it. Thank you again for joining us today, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you.
Okay, we'll now take questions. Just a reminder, it's one question, one follow-up. First question.
Matt Ingram, CHCH. Welcome to Hamilton, Premier.
It's great to be here. I love the hammer.
Yesterday, Hamilton City Council passed a budget that includes one of the highest property tax increases in recent years. Some of the councillors I spoke with said part of the reason is because of the province downloading costs onto municipalities. I'm wondering what your government is going to do to help people who are now going to have a fairly high tax increase.
Well, right off the hop, that's not accurate about us downloading costs. It's the total opposite, and I'm going to pass it over to my finance minister. We're helping municipalities right across this province. Unprecedented amount of monies are going into municipalities supporting them. But for the further details, I'll pass it over to our finance minister.
Yeah, thank you for the question. The Premier's 100% right. If we just talk about COVID, we spent billions of dollars supporting municipalities right across the province, including Hamilton and every municipality. Of course, we invested in broadband, $4 billion, more than any other province. In fact, more than all the provinces and the federal government combined almost to support communities. We doubled the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund, doubled it to $2 billion from $1 billion, which benefits almost 400 municipalities. Of course, we didn't stop there. Last week in the budget, we really focused on some of the biggest asks from the big city mayors, which represents 70% of the population in Ontario. Their number one ask was to provide more support for mental health and addictions, and we delivered. We increased the funding by over $500 million over the next 3 years, including a 5% increase in community mental health base funding. This is money that and supports that's going right into the community, and it's increasing the amount of funding. And also the second priority for municipalities, including Hamilton, was supportive housing. And we stepped up there with the homeless prevention program, an additional $202 million of new money on top of significant money that we already provide the municipalities annually. And of course, Hamilton and many cities are receiving increased funding to help right in the community. So for municipalities, we've been there in the past and we continue to be there.
I'm also wondering, will the Ford government support Monique Taylor's private members bill? That's the one that expands the Amber Alert system to include seniors. And if not, why not?
Well, that goes through our House Leader, Paul Calandra. We always discuss that. We aren't against working hand in hand with any other political stripe. So we'll discuss that and we'll make that decision.
Hey, good morning, Premier Colin DeMiller from
Hi,
Global
Colin.
News. So the City of Toronto was obviously looking for an injection of cash to help fill that budget gap. It didn't materialize either in your budget or the federal budget. Chrystia Freeland is suggesting that they should come to the province of Ontario rather than going to the federal government. I'm wondering what you suggest they should do to fill that billion-dollar gap. Should they raise taxes, in your view, or borrow from their reserves to pay for the problems of today?
Well, thanks so much for that. And I'll get the figure off the finance minister. We supported Toronto to a couple $100 million on their shortfall. It was the feds that didn't do that. But, with the city of Toronto, it's very personal to me. I know that place like the back of my hands. You can't continuously put hat in hand and go to the province, go to the feds, even though we're pouring tons of money into Toronto and supporting them. You have to be prudent fiscal managers. You can't go out there and say, give me more revenue tools. And by the way, revenue tools, folks, is a code name for I'm going to tax the pants off the residents in Ontario. I mean, Toronto, I should say. I didn't hear anything about driving efficiencies, driving standardization, focusing on lean practices. They can't just go there and think the taxpayer is going to constantly bail them out, no matter if it's the municipal, provincial, or federal government. Guess what, folks? There's one pair of pants that money's coming from, and that is each and every one of us that are paying our taxes. So they have to start treating Toronto like they're spending their own money. Then we'll see a big change. But they have to drive efficiencies. I'll pass this again over the Minister of Finance, and he can discuss some of the areas that we're supporting Toronto in. Not to mention the largest transit project in North America, over $30 billion. Majority of it is all in Toronto.
Great points. We've been there for Toronto, as the Premier mentioned, for public health, for supportive housing through the Social Services Relief Fund, for transit. In fact, last year they asked for a couple $100 million, and we were there. The federal government committed to put money there too. So that's what I think the Deputy Mayor is referring to. We're also supporting the city. You didn't have to wait for a budget to come up to Queen's Park. We've been talking to John Tory and now Deputy Mayor McKelvey for years and working together, and that's been working. In the budget, we also announced that we are supporting Toronto and the rest of the municipalities for supportive housing. Their number one ask for Toronto. We're also supporting for them, and Toronto got $48 million of that. So that's a significant, and I think you've heard the Deputy Mayor say that she's very grateful for that, and that was their top request. We've also going to put a new rehabilitation center in Runnymede, which they were very grateful for. And, integrated transit fares was another initiative that we put in the budget. So we've been talking with Toronto. I would suggest maybe that the 23 MPs that represent the Liberals that are in caucus in Toronto, they should all go up the 401 and have a conversation in Ottawa. We have a great relationship with Ottawa, and we work very closely with them. But I think the point is that we have been working with Toronto. We'll continue to work. They've got to do their part, and every municipality has to do their part.
Okay, thank you. And Premier, can I ask about the issues with the TTC? I mean, obviously there's going to be some kind of a financial need here. Your government had set aside some money for guns and gangs as an example in this recent budget. Yep. Is it your view that the City of Toronto would be able to use that money that was set aside for guns and gangs to perhaps add more resource officers on the TTC?
Yeah, great question, Colin. That's going to be up to the Toronto Police Board to determine where that's going to go. And I just encourage them to really go out there and put money into policing, into the subways, make sure we have safe subways, safe communities. It's an absolute priority that we support our police, and I'm confident that they will, because I've never seen anything like it before. All these tragedies happening, but it has to stop. And the way it stops and the way you pick up ridership is by making sure we have a safe transit system in Toronto. And the way we have a safe transit system is our Toronto police working with our transit police and boots on the ground.
Hi, Premier Siobhan from CTV News.
Hi, Siobhan.
Marilee Fullerton, since her departure, we're not quite on mic. There we go. Since her departure last week, you're now looking at your fourth minister in this portfolio in 5 years. What assurances can you give parents with children with autism in particular who are feeling that they want to see more done on this file and have not been satisfied with the progress so far?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to mention Marilee. Marilee was a wonderful minister, wonderful part of our caucus. I know she wants to spend time with the family, and there's no harder worker than Marilee Fullerton. She contributed a tremendous amount to our team. Michael Parsa is an absolute champion. You'll see him excel like you've never seen before. But I'll never forget when I first came into office in 2018, I think it was the first month, they said, the autism file is bankrupt. And I'm thinking, how can it be bankrupt this quickly? It was ignored for many years under the previous administration. We doubled the funding to $600 million compared to any other government. So we're going to continue always supporting families that have children with autism. It's very close to my heart, and we just want to support them any way we can. Is there always room for improvement? Yes. Continuous improvement? Yes. But we have the money flowing, and we're going to continue to flow the money to folks.
Since Fullerton's departure, you now do not have representation from the province's second biggest city at the cabinet table. What plan, if any, do you have to address that?
Well, again, we make sure that we listen to all 444 municipalities, no matter if they have a cabinet minister or not a cabinet minister. I've been on the phone with the mayor of Ottawa almost every single day. I was on the phone this morning with him. I'm on the phone all the time. He's a great mayor, by the way. I've had more phone calls probably in the last week than I did in 4 years from the previous mayor. So you're well represented in Ottawa. We'll always take care of you. We appreciate all the hard work you do up there. I appreciate the 500 tech companies that are up there driving the economy. So we'll always be there for Ottawa.
Hi, Premier. Laura Stone, Globe and Mail.
Hi, Laura.
I wanted to get your reaction to what happened in the legislature yesterday with the First Nations groups kind of shouting at you. I noticed you didn't make eye contact with them. What was your reaction to that? And what's your plan for dealing with First Nations opposition to the Ring of Fire? Are you just going to go ahead with your plans anyway?
Well, we've consulted nonstop with the First Nations communities up there, all 9 of them. We have, for the first time, we have Webequie and Martin Falls First Nations leading the environmental assessment on the third road that's going in there. And, I'm always willing to sit down. And as the, one of the chiefs told me, there's never been a premier that's more accessible than you have. I talk to chiefs across the province, numerous chiefs, every single week. I joke around with my minister, Greg Rickford, which is the best Minister of Indigenous Affairs. I always joke around. I said I should be the Minister of Indigenous Affairs. I just had a great meeting with the Grand Chief of Canada, Roseanne Archibald, which we have a phenomenal relationship. Yesterday we sat down, had a good chat, along with Bruce Archibald. But we're going to always make sure we take care of our First Nations community. We want to see growth and prosperity for them within their communities. It's not just about the Ring of Fire to get the critical minerals, which will make sure that there's prosperity within their communities. But what it does, it brings road access. It brings road access for fuel, it brings road access for medical, it brings road access for food and goods and services that can go in there that they never had before. These were flying communities, and it was a big struggle for them. Now we're going to offer so many more things, but we'll always work hand in hand with our First Nations community.
Okay, and on your ask from the federal government to pause the carbon tax increase, the environment minister yesterday, the federal environment minister said that that's incredibly rich coming from you and says that you have no plan to address climate change. What's your reaction to that?
Oh boy, that guy's a real piece of work, isn't he? But anyways, you know, all he's about is, I find it ironic. We want to do EV vehicles, and we have a great relationship with the federal government. And I differentiate the leadership of Chrystia Freeland and Dominic LeBlanc versus this other minister, because they're great to work with. But I never heard anything about the Ring of Fire in the budget. That's disappointing. We're putting $1 billion to make sure we pull critical minerals out of the ground to put in the EV vehicles and the batteries, to make sure we take cars off the road. Right here, we're going to Dofasco next. Right here, we're putting an electric arc furnace at Dofasco and Algoma, taking 2 million cars off the road. We're building the largest transit system in North America to get people out of their cars and get them onto the transit system. We're doing everything we can. Matter of fact, I will put our record on the environment against any government in the history of this province or right across the country. I'll make sure I give you a list on that. So I'm not into the politics. Let's move forward and let's get things done. And that's about all I have to say about that minister.
Kevin Winter, Hamilton Community News and Hamilton Spectator. So Hamilton's going to be calling or identifying homeless as an emergency. Niagara has already done that. People are dying in the streets of Hamilton. What is the provincial government going to be doing to step up and do something about it?
Well, again, I think you just mentioned Minister Bethlenfalvy is the money we're pouring into that right across the entire province. It's so important to get people help, get people support, no matter if there's mental health issues or addiction. We're putting money in to support them. We're putting money into the John Howard Society, and maybe what I'd like to do is pass this over to the Minister of Health, and she can address that.
So as the Minister of Finance mentioned, in Thursday's budget, we had substantial increases, particularly related to mental health and addictions, 5% increase, which was very, very needed and welcomed in the sector. We, of course, through our community investments, have also done the supportive housing piece, which is a partnership with our municipalities. There's no doubt that we as a government are stepping forward in a number of ministries to make sure that we have given and provided appropriate supports both to the sector but also to municipalities who ultimately provide many of those services. Thank you.
Again, the municipality yesterday, they are stepping up, but organizations like Mission Services, Salvation Army, they're not getting the money. Or the money's not flowing to them. And they can't wait another year, 2 years. They need something next month.
Actually, it's funny, I just spoke to the Salvation Army. I'm a big fan of them. We'll always support them. But we're putting more money into taking care of the homelessness than any government before. We're going to continue working with municipalities. I know it's a big issue, especially in the large cities and also in the small towns. So we'll be there for them, and we're going to continue funding those programs.
Okay, this will be the last question.
Hi, Premier. Sarah Piesker from CBC Hamilton. Here at McMaster, the school is installing gas-powered generators as a way to save money by not drawing from the electricity grid during peak times. I'm wondering if this is something the province is expecting or prepared for other institutions across the province to do as a way to save money on energy?
I love the idea. I love out-of-the-box thinkers. They're incredible here at McMaster, and we just want to encourage everyone, think outside the box. You can't keep doing the same things over and over again and expect a different result. So I encourage them to keep thinking of creative ways of saving cost. That's what I encourage all the time, continuous improvement. McMaster is just a phenomenal school. Number one selling feature, I always say. I gave him a shout out at CD Howe the other day. I think I got the U of T, which is an incredible school too. A little excited when I gave McMaster the shout out, David, but we have the best universities and colleges anywhere in the world right here in Ontario, and I'll put them up against anyone.
And how do you feel about the increased carbon emissions that will come from a proliferation potentially of gas generators?
Again, we're doing everything we possibly can to be environmentally friendly. We're leading the world on emissions. That is 90%. That's pretty staggering. 90% clean energy coming out of Ontario. It's unheard of, and that's what helps us. When we won the big contract with Volkswagen and these other companies that are coming to Ontario, they love that we have clean energy, nuclear energy that's clean. We're going to continue building on that. We're going to continue building on SMRs, small modular reactors. We're one of the leaders in the world when it comes to SMRs. So we're always going to be focused on making sure we have a clean environment, make sure we have clean lakes, clean parks, and we're going to continue focusing on nuclear energy with zero emissions and making sure we continue with the EV program that we're focused on.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thanks everyone. Thank you.
You nailed the hard one. I nailed the hard one.